Heavy Heavy is the latest album from the UK act Young Fathers, and they have genuinely been one of the best UK acts of the past 10 years in my opinion, and it's mad to think that they've been around as long as they have. Their Tape 1, Tape 2 EPs were really good, and then once they started dropping albums, it really just started going on an upward trajectory from there. White Men and Black Men 2 is a really cool album with some of their best work to date, and what I think is their best album to date as well, Cocoa Sugar. I really love that one. In My View was my favourite track of 2018, would you believe, as well, which is kind of mad to think that now, really, because it's been 5 years since that song came out. That's mad, but I love that song. I really do adore it. And Heavy Heavy is just a continuation of that really great sound that they've been pushing for so long. It seems as though this has become their most acclaimed album to date, their most beloved album to date. I mean, we haven't got to the Mercury Prize Awards yet this year because they have won one before, but it's interesting to see if this one will get them more recognition in the award ceremonies as well, because in terms of fan response, it's been super positive, and you can absolutely see why. I Need to Eat More Rice is what is mentioned on the opening track. A really great sound on this one here. Super spiritual sounding, which is something that they've always tapped into, even on some of the tracks that made it onto the Trainspotting soundtrack, which is mad to think again that they were part of that, really. But yeah, they've always had that energy about them, that kind of primal energy that makes you feel like you're being transported to a place where maybe technology hasn't been invented yet. The drums sound superb on this track, particularly at the end. And one of the patterns you notice with this album is that they really hit these crescendos by the end of the track. The tracks kind of start to intensify and the instrumentation really comes together in a cool way. This is no exception, this one. The track Drum, obviously, as we're talking about drums, I may as well bring this one up as well. A great track, super euphoric, and I think you could honestly describe most of this album with that word. And that was one of the things I loved about Cocoa Sugar, was that they really started to tap into that euphoria, and it was so blissful to listen to. It's why, in my view, is such an amazing song to my ears. And this track right here extends that even further. Sink or Swim has a really uplifting and joyous sound that I absolutely adore, and I think some of the other tracks tend to go for that as well. Tell Somebody, I think, is one of the more glistening and pretty songs on the whole thing, that again shoots for something really grand sounding, and yeah, it really works for them. It's borderline cheesy, this track, I will say, though. Like, it gets a bit sickly by the end with how beautiful it's all trying to sound, but it still does sound decent. The refrain on Holy Moly is so fun and exciting to listen to. I love the fact that they utilize that kind of little phrase of Holy Moly into its own refrain. They're clever at those little tidbits in their music. They've done similar things like this before, and I think it always really works out for them. They have that charm, they have that quality about them that makes these tracks sound as good as they do. And I super slept on I Saw when it came out. It was a track that I did listen to upon release. I think it was like October last year now, so we're looking at quite a few months ago that this track did come out, and I thought it was decent. I thought it was okay, but god damn, was I wrong. This track has grown on me like crazy. That rhythm and the way the beat is pushing the song along is fantastic. It sounds so bloody good. The refrain is so good as well. I saw what I saw. And then the drums like do 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 do. I saw what I saw. Ah, it sounds so bloody good. It's fantastic, this track. I feel a bit like a fool not even mentioning it in my 2022 songs list, at least as an honourable mention, because I think it should have been. Maybe I'll cheat and call it a 2023 song, because it did come out in a 2023 album. I might cheat and be a bit cheeky at the end of the year. We shall see. The instrumentation builds on itself beautifully. I think this is the magnum opus of the album, this track. It's capturing everything they're trying to do on so many of the other tracks, and it's sold so well. And who would have thought the little extra refrain at the end of brush your teeth and wash your face, as simple as that sounds as an idea to say to somebody, would sound so good. I don't know why they get away with that. But in terms of the best section, in terms of like singing, the last track, Be Your Lady, with the what might have been little section where he started, the vocals start sounding really soft and delicate. That right there is beautiful. That's probably the best singing moment on the album, and the track itself is really good too. But yeah, overall I think this is really good. I would only say as a slight critique is I feel like once they start getting further into the album, some of the tracks blend a little bit together. They do similar things. There's a reason why I've not mentioned some of the tracks in the track list for that reason, to be honest, where I'm kind of getting a similar pattern emerging with the way the tracks kind of progress and the vocals progress and things. They're still good and it sounds good, but I think a bit of variety within the track list might have helped it a little bit. It reminds me slightly of that Squid album that came out in 2021, where it felt like once you heard one track, they kind of kept doing the same thing with every track. And that sounds good, but I just felt like it was getting slightly derivative by the end. But the great songs are like ridiculously great. Seriously, I Saw, it's fantastic. Rice, Drum, Holy Moly, like these are excellent songs. And if you were to ever compile the best songs of Young Father's entire career, I think these ones have to be in that conversation. And maybe I'll do a video like that one day as well, we shall see. But overall, yeah, I do like this. Falls slightly short for me just for the fact that again, it gets a bit repetitive with what it's going for, but 7.5 out of 10 is where I'm at. I think it's a very strong album, and I think it could easily be an honourable mention type album for me at the end of the year, because I do get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and I just really am rooting for this band. I don't know how well they've done in terms of like the charts and things, or popular success in terms of, you know, if this album has done really well for them or not. I don't really know, but I'd love to see these guys get way more attention. I mean, there's some excellent songs on this album, and it's mad to think that they've been going for so long with all this great music and they've never really seen that much attention across the masses. I don't quite get it. They're so good. They're so unique with what they're trying to do as well. You're not really going to hear that many albums sound like this year, and yeah, really good stuff. I like these guys a lot. Please check them out. Subscribe as well. That would be fantastic. Tell me your thoughts in the comments if you've heard it. Have a good day and goodbye.